Greetings, friends, and welcome to Enigma Night Gaming. My name is Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventure. Today we're playing Disco Elysium, and in today's episode, well, we have an autopsy to perform. We finally managed to get the corpse down out of the tree, which was the whole reason we're in Martinez to begin with, and now it's time for an autopsy. So, without further ado, let's hop into the game. Okay, so we have finally gotten that body down. And obviously Kodo is not throwing rocks at it anymore. I'm kind of curious what he has to say. I feel like it's gonna be just full of the usual potty mouth, but let's go ahead and give him a talk and then we'll do our autopsy. Now let's see.
You missed a good show before. A kid came by and completely f***ed the tree to pieces.
Uh-huh.
He f***ed the tree up. Did good. It was porno.
Right.
You need to act decisively. It's Kuno. Use Kuno words.
Stop using the K word. It belongs in the past. Total retards use language like that. Congratulations, Kuno. You just made yourself a retard. Oh yeah, kids, not approval. But don't you mean Desert Kip? Wish I could have been here to see it. Now I have some other questions. Let's see. So what would we say? Like, I feel like I feel like these are not going to have a good response. This one, we don't really want to encourage that. I think we'll just say, because we wish we could have seen him taking the body down. We said that much before. So let's just say this. Wished I could have been here to see it. Now I have some questions.
Shoot that Kuno, pig-o naught.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we have any questions now. I was actually just curious if he'd say anything new. Do we have any more questions about the crime scene?
Yeah. The kingdom of Kuno. The f*** do you want with it?
Let's see. The ladder ever climb it?
Look at that. You're trying to get Kuno killed.
So you would say the ladder is unclimbable?
Does Kuno know? Kuno's not a acrobat.
Nope, but he sure is a potty mouth.
Kuno knows the ladder is unclimbable.
Okay.
The lieutenant takes a quick note in his notebook.
All right.
It's a trap, Kuno. Don't climb it, Kuno.
Okay, I might have questions later. For now, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a
All right, I'm off.
Kuno doesn't care.
Of course he doesn't. Alright, now that that unpleasant little bit is done with, let's go ahead and look at this body. I'm curious.
The
And he
corpse
really
lies
ripped
on
it
the
down.
ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Beautiful, wipe a tear from your eye. Well, it's down. Celebrate in a more reserved manner. Yeah, we'll celebrate in a more reserved manner.
has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
Okay, a field autopsy?
Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
Okay,
The RCM's four-phase murder scene processing manual.
got it, got it.
The f*** are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut his up.
Alright, don't we have someone else for this? A doctor? Got it. Let's see. Do we not have a doctor?
No, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain. From autopsy to cleanup to social work, everything.
Okay, wait, honorary rank of detective?
An honor and a burden attached to your rank once you've proven yourself able, usually after 5 to 8 years of field work. Mine is lieutenant detective.
Okay, well, yes, I feel like a detective.
You are. Your station would not have assigned you on this case if you weren't. Now,
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Alright, first, what exactly is a field autopsy? I assume we have an
come on,
idea.
officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What
Okay.
you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit. and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Okay, do you have another pair of gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, I have gardening gloves. Maybe they're enough.
They are better than nothing. Tell you what,
Alright.
I perform the anatomical side of things while you will take notes.
We just fill this in, right? Show them the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, we got this. We're smart.
Okay, so open your ledger at the field autopsy form.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts.
Okay.
Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with
Begin. Number 1, assistant.
That's you.
Write down the initials HDB. Harry Dubois. Let's write HDB. Maybe? Because we think that's our name.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
Number 2, coroner's case number.
KK57-0803.08150.
All right, got it.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57.
Okay.
Followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you.
Okay.
That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you. I think we just write it down. We just go with it.
Next,
Number 3, name.
we've heard the nom de guerre, Lely. It's better than nothing.
All right,
Write it
so
down.
we write Lele nom de guerre.
What's next? Date of birth?
Number 4, date of birth. Yes, we're gonna nod.
NA.
Okay, number 5, age.
Roughly 50.
Okay.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
All right, I'm gonna write about 42.
He nods.
Okay, number 6, race.
Mondial.
Okay.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
All right, well, we write it down. I mean,
The
it's
pudgy
fine.
mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Number 7, sex. Of course,
Male.
male. Indeed.
Pigs can have sex.
Right, male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Okay, number 8, date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
Okay, so write that
What
down.
else? 9.
Um,
Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
okay.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only
Alright.
one box remains.
Number 11, evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
Okay, what exactly is treatment anyway? I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over? Agreed, no treatment. I'm not so sure. All right, what exactly is treatment anyway?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Okay, I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
He places his hand on the dead man's chest as if in
Your
preparation.
central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
All right, turn the page.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Okay, external examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The
Okay.
disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Of course she was. All right, write it down.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
All right.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
I'm not going to take the boots off of him. That's going to pull his feet off. Write it down.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Okay, write it down.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white.
Okay.
The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini.
All right, write it
The
down.
deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck,
Of course.
tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end.
All right.
Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing.
Okay, we'll write all that
Body
down.
hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Let's see. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. Why would I want to do that? Write it down. Short, light brown, male pattern baldness.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are
Hey, Everett,
present on
welcome
the
in.
head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
How's the investigation? It is going well. We are doing a field autopsy.
Low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was f***ing max.
I'm pretty sure Kuno doesn't know what he's talking about.
Talking about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent
Oh,
with
okay,
Tulesi.
okay. Write it down. I'm not going to amend for high velocity.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife with the other hand pulling on the belt. He starts cutting on the polyester. The stench is hard. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
Steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
Okay.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Okay, so good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull out the rubber grip cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
Oh man, this isn't gonna go well, is it?
See, my pig is gonna f*** his head off.
Okay.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring
Okay, look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
Okay. So, it's high. We got instructions. Is that high enough? We could possibly put a skill point in physical instrument. I think we do that. We put 1 point in there. Let's see. Now we're at 83. That's pretty good. Hopefully that's good enough.
After some
Good.
deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
All right, press down.
Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
All right.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark.
Okay.
The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
Of course. Lieutenant has kneeled closer, running his finger along the dark red groove until there's a gap.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Okay, let's write that down.
Chest is intact. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia...
He pulls on the man's underpants. Kuno is gonna go crazy.
No! Let's get out and see!
Knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Okay, write it down and move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
All right.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
Okay, probably from his lifestyle as a soldier.
For wounds sustained over 2,
Right,
maybe
right.
more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
The scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars.
All right, write it down.
Last item. Hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Okay, let's pick up the hand and look.
The hand is surprisingly heavy to lift, filled with decay liquids. Feels as though it could explode if squeezed harder. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Okay.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
Okay. Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
All right, write it down.
Ooh.
He turns to the side to
Oh,
breathe.
for the external. Well done. What next?
He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. All right, so now it's time for the internal examination summary. Oh boy.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I might add the moral of the story. What? What? There is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story. That doesn't make any sense, right? NA.
Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
Okay.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Gross.
You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Okay.
Yeah, jack that off!
That's not what's going on here,
The
lady.
hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Okay, write it down.
Respiratory system.
All right, so back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are
Oral
used.
cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Look inside his mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Okay, write it down and move on.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why, don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust.
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
I don't think so.
Neither am I.
All right, write NA.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Okay, write it down.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Okay, write it down.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly. Write it down. Omit the voila.
What's next on the list?
Number 3, description of injuries summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Fourth
Be
one.
thorough if you want maximum results.
Okay, bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted.
All right.
And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. So bite mark injuries, that is not fatal. That's post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
What's the 4th injury filled for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Okay, contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
Yeah, that would be Kuno, right?
At maximum velocity, oh!
Of course.
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Write it down.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Okay. So this is non-fatal post-mortem.
Right. Next.
Ligature mark. Finish the autopsy.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact.
All right.
I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Okay, let's write it down.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
All right. Hyoid bone is fractured, cervical column intact. Do we think he was hanged? Is that what killed him? I don't know. The cervical column intact. No sign of clawing on the neck. Like, I don't know. Do we think that's post-mortem? Like, everything keeps saying, like, he was carried here after he had already been dead, right? We could totally be wrong about this. What if we say non-fatal post-mortem? The lieutenant falls silent abruptly.
Why do you say that?
I don't think this was the injury that killed him. I'm serious.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like this, I would tie his hands when marching him to the gallows.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being.
Okay.
Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
All right. He produces a small plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. Let's wrap this up. All right. So, first, how did it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success.
Okay, what else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well done, Master Detective. Maybe
All right.
a drink is in order?
Absolutely not. You're on the wagon, sir. What now? Let's
I
conclude
need a
it.
copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg
All right. Let's rip out a copy.
for processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Oh, enough? Okay.
Come back later, Corporal.
Let's
Amuse
see.
yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If
Perception.
possible, also, see me in your dream.
I would rather not. Can we give ourselves perception, or are we maxed out? We're not maxed out. Let's level it up. Does that help? It's even. Let's give it a try.
You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough.
Okay, let's look under his fingernails like Kim already did.
His fingernails have turned dark. They're chipped and quite long. There is dirt under them. That's all.
Do you think
Okay.
we missed something?
Yeah, there's something we're not seeing.
Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast.
Okay, where do we find a fridge for the body?
Hey, wasn't there a giant
Yes, there
iceberg
was.
sarcophagus below that building?
Why, yes. Yes, in fact, there was.
Now, detective, I've rarely been disappointed by the size of a giant iceberg fridge, but I think we should still take a look at it first. Make sure it's big enough before we carry him over.
Probably a good idea.
Let's move. With
All
every
right.
hour, whatever we are looking for in the deceased will become harder to find.
Okay, so let's get back over there then. All right, so this is where it is. Let's check this one first.
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice
It's-
around it slowly melting.
It's probably still not going to better grip with pry bar not strong enough.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams.
We could try
In the
this.
distance, you hear water dripping.
We could try it, but I don't. 3% is like basically impossible. Let's go up here and see. Let's check the bear.
The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge slowly melting. The power has been cut off.
So what do you think of this fridge, Kim? It looks big enough for 2 corpses.
It's certainly an eccentric choice, but it's more than big enough and cold enough. Honestly, it's perfect. All we have to do is plug the fridge back in.
All right, let's go do it. Let's go plug it back, and then we will go back to the corpse, I assume, and transport it. So
Both cables are unplugged from the breaker box.
plug back in the
A
giant red
electric
cable.
mammal awakens. The dead body is going to be safe in the embrace of its cold innards.
Right.
Okay.
The owners of this building will just have to keep paying for the electricity sucked up by this monstrosity a little longer. Let's return to the fridge.
Okay. Let's head back there. See what we can see.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red, watching over all the ice cream wrappers hidden inside its belly.
Okay, the fridge is plugged in now. Will you help me with the body, Kim?
Of course. I'll take the head, you take the feet.
All right.
It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but we'll manage.
All right, let's do this.
The body is heavier than you expected and stinkier. It takes half an hour to get it down to the bed. Then 10 more to stuff it into the fridge.
Oh
The
boy.
lieutenant takes a step back to admire your handiwork.
Okay.
Beautiful. A dead body in an iceberg fridge. This is some of the best police work I've ever done.
All right. Nice.
You have created an ice bear sarcophagus.
Really? You think that's good work? Let's see. I'm not sure I believe you. Behold, we have created an ice bear sarcophagus.
Talk of the ice bear sarcophagus. You must not leave this room.
I think this is a glorious achievement and people need to hear about it. We did our best with the means at our disposal. Yeah, I'm not proud either, but we did find a fridge. This isn't police work, Kim. It's art. We're artists and this was our vision. We did our best with the means at our disposal.
Did we though? Okay, maybe we did. At least we've stopped the body from decomposing further. Now you can conduct another inspection under controlled circumstances.
Of course, of course.
Inside the icy realm of the ice bear fridge, the corpse stands slumped, waiting.
Okay, so, let's try again. Search it more thoroughly this time.
You touch the dead man's body. His skin is cold, light blue and silvery in the light of the fridge. You still have no idea where to begin, or what to even do with him.
Okay.
It'll come to you sooner or later. At least he's safe here until then.
Alright, well, we could level up perception, right? Or are we already, no, we're not maxed out. Let's level that up again. And see, we're high now, 83%. Let's see, can we do it then? We'll come back. Let's try it one more time.
His eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing corpse hidden inside its belly.
Okay, let's see.
Your arms
This
reach
time
out
we
and your
can.
eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand.
What is this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent.
What are these options? Squeeze his nose, crawl up his nostrils, put your finger... What? Okay, let's start with squeezing his nose.
You pick it between your fingers. The mess is even larger than your nose. Very porous somehow, like it's about to pop. Keep crawling, lest you break it.
Okay, what if we put our fingers in his mouth? Like maybe he has something in his mouth? Maybe?
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop.
Open your eyes and look.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell,
Exactly.
right in the soft palate,
What is there?
you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost
Okay.
no larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius. The edges appear darkened.
What is that?
An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
All right, so let's say abrasion collar.
Abrasion collar.
The lieutenant looks in. There's a pin in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper. Let's touch it with our fingers
A
gently.
black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Put your finger in.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
Brainstem?
Yes, that's what this part is called.
Okay, feel around
The
first.
basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex.
Okay.
This man will never sleep again. Never wake.
Okay, let's push deeper. So somebody like basically crushed his brain?
Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
Somebody fried his brains.
This is what he used to regulate his emotions with.
There's a cavity cut right between the
The
hemispheres.
lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
All right, push deeper.
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Wriggle in.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid
I feel
streams
like-
down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger.
I feel like that's not what a brain is supposed to feel like.
Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin.
I feel a solid object right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
He searches his pockets for something. Let's inspect the skull first.
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it from the inside.
Okay.
The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
All right. Now we have exact... this is going to be very, very easy, apparently. Fish it out. Okay, if we failed that, I was going to be really sad. Okay, so what happens now? We're gonna,
You
is
pick
this a
the
bullet?
object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
Whisper, I got it.
Good, good.
The fridge in the background buzzes with excitement. Slowly pull your fingers out.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers.
Be very careful.
With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
He was shot in the head.
A bullet.
Okay, drop it in. As the lieutenant pulls a small bag marked evidence, he was shot. Hanged as a cover-up, but he was
The
shot.
bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-calibre. Rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Okay, why would either of these options be appropriate? Can I have it? Keep it, Lieutenant, as a gift? What? Why? I don't want to say either of these. It should stay in evidence. Well, he's got the bag, so keep it as a gift.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later.
Okay. Lieutenant drops the bag in your bloody hand. It feels light.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth.
All right.
High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
That sounds about right. Let's see. Sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
Agreed.
And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
Exactly.
he's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
I agree. That's exactly what I think. The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Agreed.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over?
Exactly.
Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation.
Unless he was already dead.
There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death. As the
Okay.
perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
Mm-hmm.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
Maybe they shot him while they hanged him. That doesn't make any sense, though, because why would they do that? Who would do this?
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
Okay, why would anyone do
To
this?
hide something. The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here?
Maybe the bullet holds more answers?
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
Okay, so we'll just propose this. I don't really think that's true, but maybe they shot him while they hanged him.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it does not explain all the other dubious things here.
Right, that's what
Lack
I
of
think.
struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me.
I agree. I think I need to wash myself.
You really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
Okay, I will do. What happens
We bag
next?
the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day.
Okay, you'll be gone. What should I do in the meanwhile?
Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this.
That is true.
I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
I feel like a real detective now.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
Okay, so, let's see. Let's wait until after we talk to the other, to the smoker on the balcony, right? Because that was the other thing we wanted to do. I think we'll go do that. We should also check and see what other side tasks that we have and see where we're at, because we've accomplished like a major task. Okay, so what all did we do? Find the bullet before you get fooled. Exactly. We did a lot today. Getting the body. We did so much. What all? We want to wash off the death smell. Yes. Send the victim's body to processing. Yes. Open apartment door for Evart. The basement door behind the greenhouse in the backyard to intimidate the occupant. Do what you have to do. We could do that. And the special borscht. What's so special about the borscht the strikers are eating? The cook in the Whirling Rags is making it. Okay, so I think maybe we could do that to kind of, you know, spend some time. Because we cannot do, let's see, we cannot do the smoker until after, so we have like a little less than well, actually it's like 20 minutes, right? Yeah, 20 minutes. I wonder, can I wash up now? I'm not sure. Maybe we talk to the cook and see.
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence.
Do you know what's behind that door? Let's talk about the blue door.
He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself.
Okay.
Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
Leo said you're friends with Manana. Is that true?
The mention of Manana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again.
Okay. What's in that pot? So this is the borscht, right?
The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his, and then seems to wait for you to speak.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Mercury rising, run your fingers through. Let's just, sorry, I don't understand you.
Just one word. Sounds quizzical. Then he awaits your answer with his brow arched.
Mercury rising, run your fingers through your hair.
Horse need more vodka?
Ah. He picks up a bottle from the shelf.
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits.
Okay.
Clever move by the Union.
Okay.
Of course, Vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself.
No.
Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg.
All right, let's see. No vodka. Cut it. I'll leave the cooking to you. I have business. No, we should not be mixing alcohol in with this mix. Well, I don't know. I'll leave the cooking to you.
The cook
Because
gives you a long, inspecting look, then shrugs too, and seems to wait for you to speak.
Because if they're drinking or whatnot, then maybe they'll slip up and say something. I hope this doesn't mean we're going to bed for the evening. I want to see if I can just go wash up real quick before we go to the man on the balcony. Let's see. Can I wash? I guess not. Kim tries not to look at your broken down bathroom door.
Kim also tries not to look at the pile of taped viscera on the carpet, or the weird suitcase on the hat rack, or the potted plant dying in the corner. But it's all just too morbid to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
The man is finding it hard not to trip on the tape, and not to send any of the bottles rolling across the floor.
We really need to clean this place up.
The unidentifiable sludge makes it hard for him to breathe. Smells of vomit in here.
I'm sorry for this. I say nothing, nod stoically. I'm sorry for this.
No problem, officer.
Takes a step toward the door like he'd like to leave. Yeah, I guess so. Let's head out. Alright, I think it's fine. We can probably make our way there now. Because was there anything else we could do right now? We could maybe check out the apartment door. That might run us a little bit too long. I don't know. But let's see. We'll go ahead and head out here. Behind the greenhouse. How do you even get back there, I wonder? Let's see. Uno's still hanging out there. He's got to be bored now. So it's got to be this one, right? Okay, so maybe we go around where the girl is, right? Maybe this one. It's behind the greenhouse, right?
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head.
Okay.
The royal lion, Guillaume's kitten. This knocker will last a lifetime and then some.
Okay.
That's probably the door Efrat mentioned. We still need to get the key from this manana first, though.
Okay. So where... Manana? I don't know where he is at exactly.
So, how'd you like our harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains.
Okay, then turns to a wide smile adorning his face.
Right.
Yeah, it
We
is
talk to the
Manana.
boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk.
Everett said you had a key to the door.
A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open?
He said it belonged to a weasel.
Oh, say no more.
Ugh.
I got you.
He taps the side of his nose with a little wink.
I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say.
Let's see. I saw an opportunity and took it. I'm a hustle grinder. I heard something about a weasel and it didn't sound like a local polar weasel, if you know what I mean. Wink. I'm not opening this door for myself. I'm opening it for all working men. I'm not really doing this for political reasons. I heard something about a weasel and it didn't sound like a local polar weasel. We'll just, we'll play along.
Polar weasel? Oh, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure he's actually Occidental, though. So you're gonna be committing fratricide, my racist friend.
What is, I don't even know what we said. Whoops.
What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the wailing in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
Okay.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter.
His gaze wanders off into the distance.
None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess.
Anything else I should know about this task, the weasel person, when he'll be home?
I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for.
The man takes a big sip from his flask.
He means he's not going to tell you because he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth off with you now that you're working for Everard.
Okay. Actually, do you know anything about the Hardy Boys?
Los Ardis? They're an independent militant group. A bit too high-strung, but it comes with the responsibility.
Okay.
They're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law and all that. Except it's Everard's law. But really, they're just like you.
Okay, any idea who killed the hangman?
The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
Let's see. The merc was hanged with a very specific type of cargo belt, one often used in heavy transport areas, for example, harbors. The harbor is a prime area of suspicion. In your opinion, are the dock workers involved in the killing? Let's go with the first one to make them think that we think it's hanging still.
What a thought. Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course.
Pushed how?
Your dead guy was an enemy combatant.
Hold up, what does that mean?
He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts.
Did you kill him?
I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills.
That's true.
He's not lying about not doing it himself.
Okay.
Understood. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you.
No
Okay.
problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search.
Alright, why are you striking?
We're negotiating our share.
Your share?
Aye.
He seems pleased with himself. How large a share would you like?
All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process.
Okay.
This seditious talk sounds like communism. Just so we're on the same page, communism is basically wanting to kill the rich people or deporting them to a labor camp in southeast Grad. But don't say that out loud if you're a communist.
Let's see. The bossman Everett. What can you tell me about
I
him?
think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman.
Okay. What does the union, bossing the union entail
I
anyway?
guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties, watches out for his own.
By
Okay.
that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit. We know
Oh,
it.
of course, of
Appreciate it
course.
even. He is, personally, not too lavish.
You're right. He's very aesthetic.
Okay, he's reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That
Mm-hmm.
would be a manipulative illusion.
Okay.
Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. And moralism is the most corrupt of them all.
This man has political theory, and it has not failed him today.
All right. Are you a communist?
No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all.
Okay.
Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't.
Okay. Right. You shouldn't take what's not yours. Cool. I don't have anything to add to
And none
that.
of the above kind of man. No harm in being that.
Okay. You seem to have spent a lot of time thinking about the political
Sure.
situation.
I've had the necessary free time.
Eh,
Fortunately, there's always time.
okay.
The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. For him, Having command of his time is the most important thing.
Okay.
It all comes together now. The way he speaks about scabs, his general attitude. He's a follower of a 500-year-old Franco-Nigerian Boyadero code, itself an appropriation of Vespertine cool.
Okay.
That of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman. True to yourself, independent in your actions, loyal to your friends.
It doesn't sound that cool. Sounds antiquated, obsolete, passé. It's not disco. Let's see. That of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman. True to yourself, independent in your actions, loyal to your friends. Maybe I am that.
No.
Maybe.
No. The man sits on the railing, his hands reaching far and wide. Yet it feels as if he could, effortlessly, go even wider, if need be. An endless torrent of time.
Well, good talking to you. Gotta run. Alright, it is now just after 9. It's 21:05. So now we can finally go talk to the smoker on the balcony. So let's go see, now that we have a pretty good idea of what's happened to the body, maybe we can finally get some answers. Alright. We have returned, sir. I'm sure he's thrilled about that.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
The young man on the balcony gives you a bright smile before taking another drag from his cigarette.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds.
Alright.
And his shirt is still unbuttoned.
We found a key hidden under a stone. Was it yours?
It was mine. My friends use it from time to time to visit me.
As he looks at you, something sparkles in his eyes.
So tell me, are you here to make things right again?
That's what I'm aiming for, yes. Honestly, I'm just trying to not screw anything up. I'm not going to make things just right. I'm going to make them spectacular. Ignore his question. I was hoping to talk to a possible witness. Your balcony overlooks the murder scene. I mean, that's what I'm aiming for, yes.
Beautiful.
He says again. A nearby street lamp casts shadows on his chin, drawing out the slender cheekbones.
I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
He nods towards door number 28. Very well, I'll talk to him, but first I want to talk to you. I have so many questions. By the way, I'm really digging the view here. Point to the city skyline.
Mm-hmm. That's why I chose this place. Martinez is special, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Suddenly you are digging things?
The lieutenant whispers to you, shaking his head. Why would I want to meet your friend?
Trust me, you do.
All right, well, very well. I'll talk to him, but first I want to talk to you. I have so many questions.
That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me.
He
Okay.
takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark and the neighboring windows have lit up, one by one.
Okay.
Downstairs, a cat crosses the yard, disappearing into the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, I've got to run.
Again.
Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again.
Run where? But I just found you again. Go if you must. I don't care. I don't care about people leaving me all the time. Run where?
To the city. It's
He
a beautiful
gestures
night.
idly toward the distant motorways. Only if you promise that we'll talk again. It's important. Alright, go then. Only if you promise that we'll talk again.
Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as you're saying those words.
We'll talk.
The
Just not
smoker
tonight.
assures you, brushing his hand through the air. Just not tonight, okay.
Take care, all right?
Alright. Well, I guess it's time to talk to the Sunday
And he's
friend.
gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
Let's see, he's always leaving. Why is he always leaving, Kim? There's just something so different about him I can't put my finger on. Let's go, Kim. We have to interview his Sunday friend. He's always leaving. Why is he always leaving,
Who
Kim?
knows, detective? It's a mystery.
He says, turning his face away from you. There's something so different about him I can't put my finger on. Let's just go, Kim. All right.
after you.
He nods at the apartment door before you. Alright. Well. What do we got here? A quarterly business magazine? An old photo of the same apartment dated year '01. Expensive men's perfume lingers in the air. What is this? A party dragon silk robe? What? Okay. Someone's always watching. Buckets of paint on a layer of old newspaper. An exquisite canopy bed made of metal. What is this? A Sumerian conical hat. What is this? Dishes soaked up in a pot. This. An empty ashtray. What do we got here? Dates for open lectures at a local university. Flyers for underground parties. Okay. I guess it's time to talk to you then, sir.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
And the man in business casual removes his cufflinks.
His hands are clean and well manicured. This is a man who knows the importance of appearances.
Okay.
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur-la-Clé. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
Okay.
What a drag. He seems like a cultured gentleman. You should ask him about the finer things.
No, let's just get started.
Of course. Let me just say it has been an emotional week for me.
He forms a little rooftop with his fingers. Cold air comes in from the balcony. I mean, this guy is obviously into some weird stuff. Let's just leave it at that.
His notebook and nods to you to proceed.
Okay, so you actually witnessed the lynching?
I'm sorry to say I did, officer.
Okay. It's because you did it. Start from the beginning if you don't mind.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
Okay.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a drama teacher setting the scene.
Okay, by all means, go for it.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead, one by one.
Interesting.
That's when I understood. I should not be seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated. Well done, detective.
Okay, so who were they? Can you describe them?
I couldn't see their faces well, and there were quite a few of them. But they were very loud and very Martinez.
He pauses, looking for the right wording.
Let's just say that the laboring classes can get rather expressive with their profanities.
Yeah, we've met Kuno. How many were there?
I couldn't tell you exactly. Less than 10. Maybe 8?
Okay.
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
Were any of them huge, like 200 kilograms huge?
That's a giant you're describing. No, they were all quite human, as far as I could tell.
Okay, what happened
I
next?
went back inside.
Were you able to see anything from inside?
Officer, the yard was pitch black. There was nothing to see, but I could still hear their voices. They were threatening to kill that poor man.
Okay, were they men, women?
All men, I presume. But again, I couldn't see very clearly.
Okay.
But we are fairly certain the lady driver was present.
Are you sure at least one of them wasn't a woman?
It's possible, officer, but I cannot say with certainty. It was very dark, you must remember.
Can you tell anything about their ethnicity? I'm guessing not if it was
I
dark.
believe they were mostly white, though I believe I saw 2 Areopagites among them. And I am quite certain that one spoke with a Mesk accent.
Okay, what happened next?
Well, that's the strangest part, officer. Nothing happened. It was oddly quiet for a public lynching.
What do you mean nothing happened? They lynched a guy.
Eventually, their shouts died down, and that was all. There were no gunshots, no celebratory shouts, no anything.
Okay. Why didn't you call the RCM?
You're right, of course. That is what one is supposed to do in such circumstances. I was simply in shock.
Okay, I guess that's fair.
I'm afraid I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
About what time was all this happening, approximately?
All I can say is that it was late.
So let me get this straight. You didn't actually witness the hanging itself, did you?
No, I didn't see the corpse until the following day.
Okay. Well, those are my questions. Thanks for your time.
Of course, anything I can do to assist the RCM.
Okay. Thanks. I've got all I
A
need.
moment, officer.
Oh.
Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave.
Why can't we talk later?
It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. And I'm pressed for time. After you leave, I should be leaving as well.
Okay.
That's not the real reason he's so apprehensive. Men in his position shouldn't be seen loitering around in underprivileged young men's apartments in the middle of the night.
Okay, well, thanks for the heads up on my work here is done.
Of course. I'm glad I could help.
Okay. Alright. Well, it's time to go. We asked him basically all the questions we could that were relevant, so I mean, it is what it is. Let's check our tasks. So we managed to... Alright. The smoking man. Did we do that? I don't know. Oh, there it is. No, read the watermarks. Okay. Alright. So... I think the special borscht... We figured out that, didn't we? Maybe we have to go back and figure out about the borscht. Alright, but for now, let's go ahead and head back into that. Let's unlock that, the Weasel's apartment or whatever. We'll see how that goes. And then it'll probably be pretty close to sending Kim on his way, I think. Let's go ahead and take care of this, so.
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head.
All right.
The royal lion, Guillaume's kitten. This knocker will last a lifetime and then some.
Okay. If we knock, what exactly are we supposed to do? We're supposed to open the door. Okay, so we just open the door. Use the key to open the door.
Try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle to loosen the bolt.
Okay.
Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. Thoughts race through your head.
Okay.
The sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. Hopefully no one heard. There might be important information in the apartment. I mean, there might.
There might.
Master Investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you?
What do you mean? It's my duty as a cop to investigate every square inch of this world. Hey, I'm not some sort of peeper. What do you mean?
Nothing. You're right. Get in there. Deep. Invade every personal space. Break every lock.
It's my duty as a cop to investigate every square inch of this world.
The world's secrets were made for you. They wait patiently for you to uncover them.
Alright. Anyways. Did we ever figure this one out? I don't know. Solution. Alright, home awaits. I don't know. Alright, the Jamrock Shuffle. Confusing behavior. Research time. I don't know why we would do that. We haven't discovered all the rest of these, right? We haven't had too many thoughts that we have to internalize, I think. Alright, open the door. Let Everett know we unlock the door. Can we go in? Is there anything in here? There's somebody there. Oh, no, there's not. What is this?
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others.
Tap on the mugs?
A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic.
I wonder if the one we found in the garbage match.
There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn.
What do I mean uncomfortable?
It looks like the artist is celebrating diversity, but underneath, he's just making fun of these people.
Cynical. I don't see these as stereotypes. I don't think I like the owner of this apartment. I don't know. I don't think I like the owner.
No one's telling you to like him. You might learn something from him, though.
Maybe?
The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it back down with a look of disdain.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Whip out your yellow man mug and compare.
Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humor, the same
I bet it's his
mocking
mug.
lines.
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container to dump his trash.
That's true.
And now they've drawn the ire of the Union. The plot thickens, as they say.
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues down the road.
Let's see. Do you really think it's the same person who put the dead man's clothes in the trash?
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from these clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter, but still, a nice coincidence.
Indeed.
You could ask Everett who this person is once you're done here.
That's true. Move on from the mugs. Alright, what is this? Whoever lives here admires fair-haired fantasy heroes with big muscles. You can almost feel the warmth of the red sun on the flag.
This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty.
What's with the sun?
This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle.
What's the sevenfold sun miracle?
It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Okay, Lieutenant, the old flag of Suzerain Point.
The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
Okay.
By old-fashioned, he means very right-wing.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but, like, we're not going to bow down to
The
anything.
flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. Like all feudal flags, it looks like a children's drawing.
Okay. What else do we have? A book titled The Hidden World of Walking Sticks? Huh, interesting. What's in here, I wonder? We have a shirt. That was the mugs. What's this? Okay, magnesium. We'll take that. A small suitcase full of clothes. Guests are staying over? Okay. Is there anything of interest in here? Okay, a nose of head. Sure, sure, sure. I think that's about it then. Alright. Well, that was definitely productive. Let's go ahead and send Kim off. Head into this little shop here. Or this little door. And go back to the bear freezer. Alright.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing corpse hidden inside its belly.
Alright, so let's bag him, Kim. Take him away.
All right.
All right, so he takes out the shiny black body bag and starts pulling the plastic bag over the dead man's
There go
face.
those beautiful enamel boots. May they rest in processing.
Of course.
Oh well, in another lifetime.
I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
All right, bag the corpse and drag it to the motor carriage. And then we'll see Kim after a while. All right, and he's gone. We have done an awful lot. We managed to complete an autopsy. We managed to discover the true cause of death. Who was responsible for this? I don't know, but I suspect it's somebody in the Union. And now Kim is off to deliver the body, and we are free from the moral dilemma of pulling off the boots. So, we have a lot to still explore, but now we're gonna have to do it solo until Kim returns. But we will do that in the next episode. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. If you want to watch live, we're on Twitch, Rumble, and YouTube, and the links are in the description. And if you want to see which games we're playing each day, I post them on x.com/Lara27. And I hope you'll join me in the next one. Until then, guys, bye.